almost wore another tropical shirt today because I will soon. I really almost.
Let's get motivated for the trip coming up.
Where are you going?
Back to Israel. Israel.
How many times have you been there?
I've been there 8, I think. 8 or 9. I think it's 8.
Pretty cool. I thought you'd be going to Derby with a side trip to Estonia.
No.
It's nice for us to get together for dinner together tonight. Let's do it again soon. Wednesday or Monday? No idea. Okay. Me either. Okay. Why not? Yeah, I like that place.
Jim?
I brought the adapter.
Oh, let's see what you got. See, I think that's a problem. I think the 3 is a problem. But I think you can put a. What else you got? You got other stuff in here.
It's a dupe. You know what I was thinking?
Oh, they have 2 that you put on here.
So on their outlets over there, do they have 3 holes?
No, their outlets have 2.
Okay.
From what I remember. All right.
Okay.
Well, we'll figure something out for you.
I mean, I can order it too, but
No, you bring that. We'll figure something out.
I can always. I specifically asked for Israel. That's what they come up with.
Hey, Jimmy.
Maybe they're around.
I have not seen the photo. Was it us looking for holes in the woods?
No, you weren't been overlooking.
His first 3 shots went into the pond. Everybody said, I'm running on the
No, he's not exactly.
Not precision. Distance, not precision. Oh, we had a good shot.
I had the Brookfield license.
Oh, boy. No. And then I believe he came back and then went twice with this.
Yeah, wow.
He's training for father.
My friend married.
We will.
We will have an opportunity.
Just won't be able to report back.
Right.
Keeping you up? Keeping you up? Yeah, right.
Okay.
Hi, Peter. No space.
No. Gotta keep my numbers good.
To run flat.
David, you may be right. I may have misspelled the name.
So I gave a lot of thought to last week.
Yeah, I don't think it has an A in it.
Monetary stuff for sins. And if you do that, it makes a lot more sense as far as the servant Jesus forgiving that we owe. And I'm sure they have. It gives them something to get low. Jesus accomplished. We're talking about it, right?
sometimes,
We,
even though we have a
we
lot of-
thought about the money, you know, I mean, that's how we think. But not what God had. But anyway, it took me a couple of days to ponder that.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. It was like 1 week. Ron's got a smile on his face down there. He's got something for us.
No, I'm just.
He's in this one.
Just reconnected, chilling out.
All right. Everybody looks happy.
It's that football season grin.
Hey, listen, we had some football.
Sound of
weather
pads
the other
hitting,
night,
right?
huh?
Yeah, yeah,
It was cool.
yeah. You're not kidding.
What's that? The Giants.
You don't know how to play the game. You're supposed to play with your feet.
Yeah,
White guys put cold football.
yep, absolutely.
My team lost.
Arsenal won yesterday.
Oh, Arsenal was a killer.
Five zip.
Yeah.
Of course they played.
Well, next year you're gonna have the World Cup over here.
Are they?
All right, well, good evening. Yeah, the Lord be with you.
Also with you.
Greetings from David Williams, who called and said they were coming home from Massachusetts. You know, they just had their newest grandson. And anyway, his name is Baylor, 99 something. But had a flat tire, and a specialty tire, so he got stuck. He had to wait hours to get it fixed, so he had to anyway.
That's why it's called an Audi.
Please spell that.
Years ago, my brother had a Jag. He was so proud of his Jaguar, but there was something with the wheels and the hub. It had these spindle hubcap that kept puncturing the tire. And so every time he was sitting by the side of the road fixing his tire, people would go by and honk and cheer. And it's the worst car I ever had.
Where's the Jaguar made?
England.
England. Oh, okay.
Sorry, but no, nothing.
No, they're made all the English brands are all over the place.
All right. Well, let's commit these. Father, as we come back together this evening, thank you for this weekend and opportunities to have fun and enjoy each other and friends and family. And also to be refreshed by your word and service yesterday. Thank you for it. We do pray for Father Nate for stamina and for wisdom and skill. He has a lot to deal with in the coming months. Be to him, Lord, what he needs. And we pray again for Lois, for continued healing. Thank you for the good progress she's making thus far. And for Alex, too. Just trust, Lord, that you will help enable as he deals with pain and discomfort from the surgery. Helping, Lord, to recover well. Thank you for his daughter's help. So be to him tonight what he needs. And so thank you for your word. Open our hearts, we pray, for Jesus' sake. Amen. Well, you know, last Monday night was, nobody seemed to have any opinions. Everybody was so quiet.
Yeah, right.
Didn't offer any comments. I promise you, I won't go over the same parable tonight. But at the same time, I do want us to spend a little bit of time talking about the so what. Because we got so hung up with who was the villain and who was the hero, and back and forth, and how could that shrewd guy, why did he get off so easily, and on it went. And I realized for some of us it was confusing and frustrating, but Jesus is trying to make some important points, and I think the points are pretty clear. So hopefully, don't worry about the parable itself, but just focus on what he's bringing out of it. And so let's pick up the text just in chapter 16, verse 10, and down through the end through 15. And remember that money was an issue with the Pharisees. How do we know that?
says in verse 14, Pharisees who love money.
There you go. And he points that out too, their hypocrisy in other verses and other stories, where often they would have the appearance of being holy and righteous, but underneath there was greed and abuse. He accused them of set aside money for the care of their parents and using it to say, well, this is God's money, and using it for selfish ends. But anyway, so he's talking about our material things here, and that part is pretty clear. That's he says it. And so let's read this over and see what it says to us. Verse 10 through 15. Can someone read that, please?
Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. So if you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? And if you have not been trustworthy with someone else's property, who will give you property of your own? No servant can serve two masters. Either you will hate one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. The Pharisees who loved money heard all this and were seething at Jesus. He said to them, "You are the ones who justify yourselves in the eyes of men, but God knows your hearts. What is highly valued among men is detestable in God's sight."
That's some strong language here. So, verse 10, how do we typically measure the worth of a person in our culture?
Whether they're honorable or not.
Whether they're successful and have a lot of money. That's what we look at these days.
How they look, socioeconomic status. Sorry.
I mean, there is true. Some we say, are they?
I base it on whether I respect them or not.
But pop stars, sports figures, movie actors, you name it, music, the whole realm. We tend to focus on what appearances and what they have, and what
The product.
their product. And but how does God measure the worth of a person? How does he?
He measures the worth by what's in their heart. This is right here.
Glad we're reading the text. That's where the answers are. Great. And notice he says here, however, he says he uses how we deal with money, with wealth, possessions, as sort of a test or a way of measuring whether we can be trusted in other areas. How do you think that? How does that work? What do you think he's saying? He says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. So if you've not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? So what do you think he's trying to say here?
If you're an honorable person, you're going to do what's right no matter what. If you're not an honorable person, you're going to self-serve in personal gain. So it doesn't matter what the topic is, whether it's money or saying you're going to pick them up at the airport.
That's very true.
And it's like a continuous spectrum. There's not some cut point where you
Right.
say, okay,
Right.
below this I'm going to do this, above this I'm
Right.
going to do that. It's just fundamental.
That's right. It's built in.
Interesting. I remember a pioneer missionary to China. His name was Hudson Taylor, who founded the China Inland Mission, which today is the Methodist International. That's a mission agency in the country. But he said this. He said, "A little thing is a little thing, but faithfulness in a little thing is a big thing." What do you think he's saying?
Well, he's connecting the heart with whatever you're doing. It's not just what you're doing or what you're not doing, but it's you can be faithful in that, even if you're doing with money. That's what I think.
So So when I'm thinking of giving responsibility to someone, and we're looking for leadership in the district or in other responsibilities, how do we measure their
Well,
work?
you
How
start
should
out,
we?
I guess you start out by giving the person a small, innocuous job. Now, if he hems and haws and gets all PO'd about it, doesn't do a good job with it, well, you're not gonna give him anything more. But if he does a good job and does it, with a good heart and cheerfully, well, then he'll get more the next time. Or she will get more the next time. And I think it progresses from there. The better you do with little, the more you'll get. It's sort of like the servants who put the talents, yeah, and they wanted the master's money to multiply, so they were faithful with that. The other guy just put it in the ground, but he lost what he had. So we can say that those that have some given more, and those that lose all.
It depends on, like, whenever you're doing anything, who are you doing it for? It's supposed to, regardless of who the person is, you're supposed to do that as if you were working for the Lord. If you get somebody to do something and you catch them doing something right, it gets back to the heart again.
You're retelling the story of the lady who lost the silver coin.
Amen.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, wealth is a matter of your situation, right? No. I'm just saying. You take with somebody that, doesn't have a lot. One silver coin. I mean, one thing could be a lot. Where somebody's got $1 million. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter how much you have, but how you deal with it. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's what he said.
Well, you're right, because $1,000 could be a night out at the theater and dinner for one guy, and it could be life-changing to
It
another
could be a month's
guy
worth of
that-
meals for another guy.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
You haven't been shopping way too long.
I have what?
You haven't been shot.
Yeah, that's true.
He talks, Jesus in verse 11 talks about, if you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? What are the true riches? The true wealth he's talking about.
Spiritual riches, heavenly riches.
Friends, family, people that trust you, people that love you.
Trust you with the kingdom.
Yeah. Spiritual riches seem to be that which serves God's purposes, that works toward fulfilling the kingdom of God, building His church, changing people's lives, transforming, communities, the things that have eternal values. What he's getting at. He says, somebody said, I've never seen a hearse followed by a U-Haul trailer. You can't take it with you. And so he says, how we handle what's been given us is a measure of how we will be given spiritual responsibilities. And I learned as a young seminary student, in my early days as a Christian education director in the church in Dallas, teaching about 1,800 people, that little things were important, and being faithful in those little things. He said, I'll get back to you, or I'll do that, sure, I'll take that on. And some things I missed, and it affected people, and it bothered people. And I had some come to Jesus meetings with the pastor, sat me down and said, let's do a review this last week. You did this well and that well, but you know what? What happened here? You missed that. What are the consequences of that? And I learned that if I wanted, I had aspirations to be a senior pastor or be whatever, the leader of this. Let's start, can you do this well? And then we'll talk about the next step. And he goes on and he summarizes it in verse 13. No one can serve two masters. The word serve here is a little bit misleading because some people have two bosses, two jobs, and reporting equally to two different entities. So what he's saying here, the word serve is actually dueo. Doulos means servant. It means not servant, it means slave. To be a slave. And so I'm saying no man can serve can be a slave to two masters. It doesn't work.
But in reality, when you said you could have two bosses, it works out the same way.
Yeah.
Because you can't necessarily keep them both happy.
That's right.
But those two bosses may have a similar goal,
Right?
in which case at this level up here, you still may have a pro and con.
Right.
You can serve one or the other.
Right.
So when he says, hate the one and love the other, or be devoted to one, despise the other, and then he makes a summary statement. You cannot serve both God and money. What are the implications of that? What does that look like?
Well, putting your job and the money above God. You're more concerned of your paycheck in your pocket than your family, or going to church, or thanking God for it, and thinking you're doing it on your own and whatnot.
Isn't it the love of money that's the sin? So what are you gonna do? You're gonna love God, be serve God, or you're gonna love money, be a servant to money? That's what it's done to the love.
Money is the root of it.
It says not money, but it's the
The
love
love of
of
money. Not money in itself is inert. It doesn't.
But wasn't it a lot
it's not
like,
good or bad.
I mean, to me, it's a lot like Job. Because before he went on hard times, he was well off, and Job, he was well off, and he was thought he was doing everything right because he had a lot of money, and kind of like the Pharisees type of thing, thinking that's what was important, and he found out it wasn't.
Is it conceivable that loving God is loving God's family? Loving money is only taking care of yourself?
And so it's a real, Lindy and I are reading a book together in the morning. We take a few minutes after I have my bowl of oatmeal or my bowl of raisin bran, or I vary it with Cheerios. I've got a real road that goes through the United States. And then if I'm really good, maybe I might maybe some pancakes or something once a month. But at any rate, we're reading this book called You Are Who You Love. We tend to think that you are, the big general think you are what you think. It comes from Descartes, a philosopher, you are what you think. Well, there is a sense of how I think about myself and how I think about others, how I will treat them or how I will act in part. But really, it's who I love defines ultimately who I am. And I think that's what Jesus is getting at. Who do you really love? Who do you love?
So I went on Crucio and came home that Monday morning and went to work. And after a little while, my wife came in and she says, Jeff, I understand you had a marvelous weekend, but you have worked on 3 cars and you haven't charged anybody yet. We cannot make money if you don't charge customers. But for me, that was the hardest position to be in. Run a business and be true to the gospel. Because a lot of times you're put in this odd spot where you want to do this, but if you do, it's going to mess up this, and it wrecks it. It takes its toll on you.
And there's this biblical balance. It says, he who does not take care of his family denies the faith. So there's that, obviously. And we need to be responsible. We just say, I'll give it all away. Somebody will take care of me. Well, guess what?
I owned a business for a while, and some of my competitors were opening on Sundays. They said, no, we're not going to do it. That's,
Yep.
My choice.
How'd it work out for you?
It's done okay.
It's a good business. That's all. Around a long time.
We just say?
Chick-fil-A, they do the same thing. I
Yeah,
can
Chick-fil-A does the
drive by
same
there on
thing.
Sunday, there's no cars.
Hobby Lobby as well.
And I go to stores on Sunday.
I try not to.
So,
Well, you know, Dan, the best thing we had in Connecticut when I was growing up as a kid here, is we still had a thing called a Blue Bowl.
Yes. I wish
The
we
only
still
thing that
did.
was open after church, everybody would go to a little store and they get their rolls or whatever they had to get. The supermarkets were closed and it was a family day. We had a family meal, the family got together, and then they ruined it.
Or drive over to New York and get what you need.
Well, that was for the beer. That was for the beer.
No, it was the bakery day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went down to the New York
New York
bakery
Bake Shop.
or over to the bread place over on Rose Street or Spring Street and went home. Yeah, spent the day with family.
so obviously what we're devoted to, the word devoted here means attached to. What are you attached to? Need and have to feed and serve. That's what ultimately controls our lives. So it doesn't necessarily have to be money per se. Could be physical. I don't even know what that is, so I don't know. Anyway, but who's your master on any given day? And but ultimately, why does money matter to God? Why is it important to God?
Because it's a distraction, it's a distraction from the true purpose.
But it's also a way too that the way you handle your money is the way God judges you. You know.
It can be a distraction. Obviously, if used rightly, it's good steward. It blesses people. That's why it says back in the villain in the story or the hero, whichever one it is. It says he went out and used his money to make friends. In other words, he's looking for his welfare down the road. Who's going to hire him? Who's going to take him into the place? But he says, likewise, he says, I want you to do things. Use your worldly wealth to gain friends for yourself, so that when it's gone, you will be welcomed into eternal dwelling. In other words, investing in people, taking people out for a meal, or inviting them into your home, your neighbors, building relationships. Did you see the Pick Weekly this morning?
No, I haven't read it.
Right. He talks about bringing a friend to church. I mean,
Oh, yeah, right. Sunday.
Yeah.
Say
And,
7 or something.
And he's saying it's the most natural way of evangelism, building a relationship, a friendship, and just saying, church is, it gives life. And it means so much to us, and it's just that, because if you don't go to church, you're going to hell. But it can enrich, you can, and encouraging people, building those relationships. And so, that's what we're doing. We're using our money resource to make friends. Hopefully they'll respond to the gospel and will be part of that heavenly host that when you pop into heaven, they'll be there to greet you. I think of the first lady, a woman who I've mentioned it before when we were in Japan doing our first church situation. Difficult, tough. And she was the first one to believe in this town of 40,000 people who were in Japan. And it was so amazing how she came to faith. And she was so convinced. And when I had the privilege of baptizing her, had to do it in a public bath. It's freezing cold outside. All the rivers were frozen in the lake. And we didn't believe in this. I didn't believe in sprinkling. You would get them under all the way. Because that's typical in Japan. When they thought baptism, not a little water in the head, dunk them, and a good Baptist. But at any rate, she said, I have found love, I found light, I found truth in Jesus Christ, and I will never go back. And of course, for her, that was a huge step, because her husband, before he died, had been the head priest of a large Buddhist temple. She had been a member of the Communist Party, which is not as evil as you think, just a social party in Japan. And she had a family network of all these people that she was saying, in one sense, she was, I'm willing to face whatever may come back by way of criticism, harassment, or people just shutting me out. And I'm looking forward to you know, all that it cost me that I had to pay to be there, to get there, 2 years of slogging away at Japanese language study and all of those with it, building relationships in the town, trying to find somebody to talk to, making connections, and then finally brought her across my path with my language teacher, part-time language teacher, and her coming to faith was worth anything. And I'm waiting, she's gonna be in heaven, saying, hey, down the other sunset. And Pastor Daniel, welcome. And I hope there's people waiting for you in heaven, that you've invested in their lives. And as a result, they're in eternal dwellings, you know, that will be a part of someday. Okay, let's move on. What's interesting when in verse 14, you know, he looks at the Pharisees, and we can look at our heart, and we don't have to be Pharisees for this little while, right? When they heard money, when they heard all this, it says they were sneering at Jesus. What was your translation? Seething at Jesus?
Seething, yeah.
Seething. Or sneering. It's pretty harsh. He's like, oh, come on, you gotta be kidding. And what a bunch of rubbish, you know? And they just, but Jesus goes on and he said, you justify yourselves. You think everybody else thinks you're great and wonderful and godly. But what? God knows what? What's in our hearts. He sees right through it. What people value highly is objectionable in God's sight. Is that what he says?
This is detestable.
Everybody's version is detestable. That's strong language.
An abomination.
It's almost like, you know, makes me want to throw up. It's so bad. It stinks. It's a very strong. So he's not mincing words here. And then he goes on, and whether this in verse 16 to 18, if that's all part of the sequence at the same time or something else that's been added, I'm not 100% sure. But at any rate, we have it now by Luke. He wants us to know what Jesus is saying here. So somebody read 16 and 18. Is that right?
Sure. The law and the prophets were proclaimed until John. Since that time, the good news of the kingdom of God is being preached, and everyone is forcing his way into it. It is easier for heaven and earth to disappear than for the least stroke of a pen to drop out of the law.
Okay, what's up there? We'll get to the divorce thing after this. That's good. And we'll try and deal with that. What is he saying here? It says the law and the prophets were proclaimed until John. Who's John? What's he talking about here?
John the Baptist.
So, what was John's role?
Prepare the way for Jesus.
Prepare the way.
So he is the last prophet. And it says, since him coming and since my appearance, it says the good news of the kingdom is being preached. And then he says, and everyone, or what did your version say? Or everyone?
And everyone is forcing his way.
And
Everyone.
Yeah, everyone is forcing his way into it. You say, well, what's that? What does he mean?
Probably trying to bend the rules.
It's like fighting your way into it.
Is that true? Do you see people sort of fighting to become Christians?
Well, the battling everything that's preventing them from going into it, trying to lure them away, and so on.
They want to be Christians, but they don't want to give up their lifestyle to become Christians.
Actually, this phrase, everyone forces his way into it, it's cryptic. And scholars debate as to what it really is saying. So if you're confused, don't feel alone.
It's not saying they're trying to buy their way in instead of spiritually getting their way in, is it? I mean, because he just got done telling them in 13 and 14 in 14, he says you're more worried about money, and if you believe that, then in 13, he just told them you don't believe in God.
That's a good observation, Jeff. Yeah, obviously no one can buy the way you did. So it's not a bidding war as to how, or an auction.
Is there a scripture that says the kingdom is advancing by force? There is a scripture that says that. The kingdom is advancing by force.
But could it be these people who are interested in Christianity and having listened to John the Baptist and all his preaching are then interpreting what John the Baptist preached to fit their own personality and to be able to say that they're Christians?
Yeah, the minister of John Baptist was in fact before him and the Lord. Later, maybe 25, 30 years after, Paul finds people in Ephesus and moved the Baptist. Paul was a great preacher over from Alexandria, Egypt, to all in the Baptist. So it was a powerful ministry because he propelled and propagate all over the Roman Empire. So a lot of people already was the beginning, and later they understood about the baptism of the Holy Spirit. But a lot of believers started with that. They included the disciples.
And the Pharisees were asking for John to be jailed, right?
Yeah.
They were for him being jailed and wanted him put away.
He was popular with the people.
Right.
The Pharisees didn't like it because he was pretty harsh with them. I mean, it's unclear who is doing the forcing here, but the word forcing has a strong sense of attack or violence, and so some feel that maybe he's saying that where once God offered salvation primarily to the Jews under the law of Moses, now it's available to everyone, Gentiles. So the doors open, it's like a flood of people now can come in. Others feel, however, differently. But Darrell Bach, one of the biblical interpreters, and I have his commentary, which I find very helpful. That's the first half, and the second half of the book is that so together it's trying to tell them. But anyway, he feels that it's basically meaning that Jesus is forcefully urging everyone towards the kingdom of God. Jesus is vehemently trying to make everyone see the urgency. He is the way and the need to believe. So we don't know for sure, but there's this sense that he's back there pushing urgent. That's his message to these Pharisees. Guys, wake up before it's too late.
See, I see it a little bit different.
Okay, good.
So, I mean, I think it kind of ties in with the sentence or so after, because when you look at the Pharisees, and it goes to the stroke of the pen. It's hard to take a stroke of the pen off. So their approach is, you got all these laws that keep going. So their approach is the only way you can really get a relationship and stuff by God is by following all these laws, and that's really by forcing type of stuff. And I think what Jesus is kind of saying is that's not the approach that's going to work. You've got too many laws, and it's too complicated, and they end up really contradicting what kind of makes sense. And so if you go down that road, next thing you know, wake up and life has passed you by, and really what you should be doing is how you live and how you approach things. I mean, that's the way I see it.
See, the law and the prophets, nothing to do with the law. The law was the written word of God, and the prophets was the living scripture. So by the time of the disciple, they don't have the New Testament, whatever they have, by that time was the scripture. Nathan preached a good message a couple of weeks ago about the chapter 11 of Hebrew. So all these people die in faith, but never receive the promise. What the promise? A lot of people, they go, you think the promise of heaven. They receive a promise to the Messiah. They do. So the Old Testament salvation, nail that was it. They place the faith or event in the future. We place the faith a historical event in place about 2,000 years ago. So we go back and they go forward. and most of them, the law prophets, revealed the Messiah, but they never was in the lifetime. In the chapter 10 of Luke, Jesus said, "Blessed are you, with your eyes, because they see." And I tell you, prophets, kings, they want to see what the Messianic age when Jesus was with the disciples. So that people look forward for the Messiah, but they never happen in their lifetime.
That's very helpful, Jim. Thank you. Yeah. What does this say? What does this say about the authenticity, reliability, trustworthiness, inspiration of the Old Testament? According to Jesus.
Like the script is inspired by God. Second Timothy 3:16. Also, all the Jewish scripture, the Psalms, the law, the prophets, and was already inspired by the Spirit. So God used them.
Well, what's he mean by the law and the prophets were proclaimed until John? This is a transition period.
John now is saying the Messiah.
Exactly, and this is what he's trying to
His
teach.
message, repent, for the kingdom of God is drawing near.
And that's the point the Pharisees couldn't understand.
May I read a few verses from
Go for
Matthew?
it, yeah.
Truly I say to you, among those born of women there has arisen one greater than John the Baptist. Yet the one who is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence, and the violence will take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if you are willing to accept it, he is Elijah who is to come. He who has come to hear, let him hear. Oh no, he who has ears, let him hear. But it's saying again that there's still violence going on. And
Well, obviously, that's, yeah. There was violence going on there. Well, why? They killed Jesus.
that's right. I was going to say the violence led to the
All the
crucifixion.
prophets were killed before, and wherever truth,
John the Baptist was born.
men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. So I just wanted to point out this one thing. He says it's easier for heaven and earth to disappear than for the least stroke of a pen. And this is talking about a little, just like a oxygen for us. And he's saying that this book in the Old Testament is eternally secure, and nothing's going to change it. Obviously, the ceremonial laws of the Old Testament, the sacrificial laws, some of the dietary laws, and so forth, those things have passed. They've been in the new arrangement for living, the new covenant. I don't like the term Old Testament, New Testament, as if the old is not have value. What do we use the Old Testament? What do we gain from the Old Testament?
Well, they say the Old Testament is the tutor taken towards salvation.
That's what Judas to bring us to Christ, yeah. That's Galatians, Paul's message there. So it has a purpose. The law was to show people that they couldn't do it on their own. And salvation in the Old Testament, as Joe highlighted, was basically salvation in what was coming. It was salvation came by faith in God, believing in God's promises and purpose, and not trusting themselves in their own efforts of how good keeping the law is.
Dan, do we know? Okay, we know that the disciples went out and started, working towards creating the church and everything. But do we know, was there a faction of Pharisees besides Nicodemus that believed it and went? Or, I mean, we know about Nicodemus, but was it, because he spent so much time talking to them and they had to pick up and say, this just ain't a regular kid. Something's going on.
Who buried Jesus and gave his tomb?
Joseph.
Joseph and Mary. So there was several.
Was he a Pharisee too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He was part of the council.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was Paul
Paul was.
Paul said he was a Pharisee. Well, the thing is that we know what's wonderful is that after the resurrection of Christ, it says in the book of Acts that many among the priests also believed.
Okay.
So obviously, a lot of these very Pharisees, and we'll see later when he talks about the rich man and Lazarus and the implications of that story. I mean, they were hardened, and they sought to squelch John and James and the other apostles and Peter, put them in prison and all the rest because when they were spreading the message, they just could not believe all this stuff that came through. So anyway.
But it's probably like anything where Nicodemus were in that were the early adopters to believe in Jesus, and then eventually, right?
So the precise laws of the Old Testament, as I said, are not applicable to Christians. We don't have to burn sacrifices or follow the Sabbath per se. The principle of the Sabbath, rest is important. We apply that, but we don't have to strictly follow the Sabbath laws. Or the civil or ceremonial requirements, and that's certainly not part of our salvation. But the eternal principles are boiled down, and Jesus says the two principles, overriding principles that come out of the Old Testament are, Lincoln's going to tell us what those two are. He often mentions them. To love God and love your neighbor. And those are the whole Old Testament, Jesus says, it's summed up. And those two things, to love God and to love you. And really, hopefully, many times, point this back to that Christian.
If you do the first amendment, love God about everything, you don't need the first. And the problem, we put ourselves first, then
Another, when he said those two greatest commandments, the question that came to him from the Pharisees was, teacher, which is the greatest commandment in your law?
Yeah,
He gave him two.
that's what that sums up the Old Testament.
And money helps you think you don't need God.
Yeah, good point. So anyway.
But to me, it's almost the difference between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law.
Yeah.
And I think with the Old Testament was more of the letter of the law, and the Pharisees, which you had to live by the letter of the law, where Jesus was more of the spirit of the law. Like on the Sabbath when he healed the person, he said, well, the letter of the law says one thing, but can you deny that this is? So I think that's a difference there.
I think the problem was the interpretation of the law. You see, only the author of the law can interpret the law, but like I always, and Father Jean is with us in our group, he wrote a few books, he's the author. So you have authority, if I try to explain something in this book, he's the right person to tell us, because I mean this here and that. That's exactly Jesus. We're given a lot to do this. So we have, the Bible says he's have authority, not like the rabbi, because he's the author, and they fulfill it, interpret the way God interprets, not like all the rabbis, they have all kinds of schools. Like today, you have theologians like Arceus Sproul, John MacArthur, all they see from different angles. There's so many people, and he's right. So so you are in the same thing like the rabbis, try find the loopholes or whatever it is, depending on our denomination.
Yeah. Bill, you were going to say something.
Yeah, to me, I'm thinking of two things here. They are pretty, to me, you can't have one without the other. In other words, we don't know where they're coming from, we know where they came from. And we need this in conjunction with the New Testament.
Yeah.
And I believe it's either Romans 8 or Romans 11, says that we were grafted into this program. We were invited into this realm.
Paul says in chapter 10 of Romans, these things were written for our instruction. So there's a lot in it, and that's why we spent time. I know going through 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Samuel was a slog at times. Thinking about this king died and this did, but there's so many principles that relate to our life. We see illustrations of what goes well when there's obedience and what goes really bad when there's not. So now we're going to jump into verse 18. It's like jarring. Suddenly, like, how did this get here? But let's read. Somebody read verse 18. I won't ask about it.
Oh, I'll do.
Okay.
I'll do people, everyone, anyway, divorce and remarriage. Everyone who divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery. And he who marries a woman divorced from her husband.
Let me preface our discussion with this. Do you think that the commandment, thinking of the Ten Commandments, you shall not kill? Strong language, right? What it means is you shall not murder, not kill, because certain kinds of killing was authorized. Political, justice and all that. He said, you shall not murder. Why was that important? Why was that important? What happens if that command is not followed?
Complete anarchy.
When you think of the collateral damage, when there's no constraint, where there's no fear of retaliation or backlash, you find great violence and others die as a result. What about the command, you shall not steal? What happens when that's not followed?
Same.
Versus, you shall not lie. What's the collateral damage about that?
Washington, D.C.
They're not lying now.
CBS and NBC. But all this to say is, I think ideally, what happens, is divorce a good thing, generally speaking?
No.
What's the damage that can happen? What's the fallout?
Children, finances.
You lose half of everything you own.
Broken
Only if you
lives,
have a family.
broken hearts.
Daí, it's example of situation, the ties, the bond of a family goes in a strong marriage. Even the Iron Curtain, they figured out that, to have a strong country, need a strong family. You see, in 50 years, if you go back, how easy to spot in this country. If, for instance, like here, Thanksgiving meal, you go like 45 years, 30 by 4, between 4 50 years ago, Ephesus. You see the ties of the family, you see the grandfather, mother, and what today, what you see? The stepfather, the children, and this one, and you see all the distortion of them. And that, and when the country goes that way, the family goes first and the country goes next. Because the real order bound the country together was the family.
My point is this, that all these commandments are there ideally to preserve life, to keep relationships healthy, to spare suffering and heartache and all the fallout when they're violated. And God, what was his ultimate purpose in marriage? What was God's ultimate purpose
Family.
in establishing marriage?
Perpetuity.
We get part of it. But also, it says they become one flesh.
Right.
And then he also talks about that in Ephesians 5, he talks about marriage in a way is an expression of the relationship between Christ and his church, the bride of Christ. And so we're a poor reflection that we're marriage in one sense reflects that ideal. So marriage is good and blessed, and obviously when divorce happens, there are consequences which are grievous. Pardon?
Most of the time, yes.
Most of the time. But at the same time, let me just add, there is grace and there is forgiveness. There is no unforgivable sin. So here he's talking about the ideal at this point. Just like he could say, don't forget, guys, you shall not lie, you shall not bear false witness, you shall not steal, you shall not covet. All of those things, when violated, there are consequences. And this particular command was violated. You burnt the toast, you're out of here. Among the Pharisees and so forth, it was so misused that I think he's trying to make a point, along with money and other things, to emphasize how hypocritical they were.
one of the book of the Bible, the book of Malachi, the last one of the Old Testament. God was, because they use the divorce to get rid of his wife and to get a new one, and God was opposed because what's the purpose, they kind, and of course they loophole the law and they use that when they choose to put the wife, most of them is in prostitution because they have any means to survive in that culture.
Well, God is a covenant also. It's a covenant with God.
It's covenant. So we know the ideal, but sin happens in all kinds of areas. We steal, we lie, we injure people, we violate God's principles and their consequences. So
The question I have though was the word adultery here. I don't know what with the translations and stuff, because I mean, in my way of thinking, okay, that if you're married and you're divorced, then you're no longer married, okay. And at that point, and I don't know, they probably got divorced back then. So at that point, if you did connect up with somebody else, it wouldn't be adultery. Okay, now if the Pharisees are rubber stamping every month, they're getting a new honey. Well, that's one thing, type of thing, if they're abusing it. But I mean, so I'm wondering if somehow their perspective on what adultery was kind of different than how we view it.
I think that, I hate to bring in recent history, but I think that's one of the things that's created the Episcopal Church and the Anglican community. Henry VIII wanted a divorce, and the alternative to the divorce was killing someone. So, forgive me, what I've been thinking about this evening, and forget Mr. Miller for a second. You are strictly a rabbi this evening, because the rabbis were the people who talked to us at the synagogues, taught at the synagogues, interpreted at the synagogues, and they had to take care of their community on being able to get through theft, death, adultery, divorce, anything else like that, and be able to interpret the Mosaic law to what the current condition was at 5000 BC or whatever.
let me just share a few convictions, and then as I see it, and whether you agree or disagree, that's fine. But let me, before we disassemble tonight. Scripture says that in the Old Testament, Moses recognized that divorce happened, and so there was a provision for it. But it was abused greatly by the time Pharisees came along and all the rest. So Jesus is trying to bring it back to its original intent. Keep it, the original intent. But at the same time, divorce happens. It comes up, and sometimes, however, and therefore there are exceptions that Scripture talks about for allowing divorce. So that the word for adultery actually is the word for porneia, from which we get pornographic. There's another word that specifically says adultery, that is sexual relations outside of your marriage.
Right.
But this is a more general term. And the other word was malexia. This one uses a broader term, and it can include adultery, homosexuality, bestiality, incense, and any kind of sexual or perversion.
Well, molestia, they probably got molestation from.
And so in Matthew 19:9, Jesus said, that divorce is not good except for when there's adultery or this kind of sexual violation, and then there's a legitimate grounds for divorce to take place. The other exception is found in 1 Corinthians 7, and I call it the abandonment. In other words, Paul says if the unbelieving partner wants to leave him, won't stay, let that person go. You're not bound to that person if they choose to walk out of the relationship. But the third exception I feel is abuse. And it's in Titus 2:1-50, it says, let no man despise you. For instance, in a home, in partner might be abusing the children, an alcoholic who's coming home and beating his wife, or, you know, those kinds of things where you're putting the family and children at serious risk. In that case, I feel that there's the grounds for divorce. At the same time, even when we don't say, we just didn't agree, we didn't get along, we were going after two different things, and divorce happens, and it's sad, but it happens. Scripture makes it clear that if any man be in Christ, he is what?
New creation.
A new creation. And the old is past and the new has come. Yes.
It's interesting how some religions, no choice, stuff like this. One use my example, it's being a Catholic, that was divorced. I'm technically excommunicated, I was told by the priest. We would not give me absolute, but I'm just saying, how they use old things to justify whatever they want to do.
The point is that there's no unforgivable sin. And if it happens, and there's true confession, and a lot of times people have, before they become a Christian, they have been in a divorce situation, and both come to faith afterwards. And they say, where are we now? You know, are we living in adultery? Well, no, they've been forgiven. It's they're a new creation, and they move on, and they can serve and use with God and build a new life.
Was it also probably back then too, if somebody wanted a divorce, probably the men could get it, but could the women get divorced?
No.
And probably the men were the ones that had to,
For
right.
Jews, it was your man.
the men, right? So if you're, right.
But I don't know in Roman law, Roman culture, I'm not sure that was an easy thing for a woman to practice. In Greek culture, I think they could. But and all this to say is that I think if you keep it in context, that he's talking about how they so abuse money, and the hypocrisy was hurting people around them and themselves as well. And Jesus is trying to show them the hypocrisy. So he zeroes in on a couple of things. It's interesting that
You know, Dan, it's interesting that Jesus himself made an exception to that piece of scripture. Because when the Pharisees tested him and they asked him if it was okay for a man to divorce his wife, he said, I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for marital unfaithfulness, and marries another woman commits adultery. Well, then there comes the definition of what is marital unfaithfulness. It may not be only sexual. If you're beating your wife, that's being an unfaithful husband. If you're cheating on your wife, that's, you know, an unfaithful husband. And if you abuse your children, that's being unfaithful in marriage. You know.
if we keep in mind that marriage, from God's perspective, he sees this couple becoming one flesh, and therefore when let no man tear it asunder, we say in the other,
Right.
tear it asunder. And so one flesh, when you sever it, that's an unhealthy, it's an unhappy thing. But that's why he calls it adultery, because it violates its intent and its purpose. But it happens, and so we move on, and I think remarriage is possible. There's a book by, maybe you've heard of maybe Chuck Swindoll, he's been on the radio. A little book called Divorce, Remarriage, According to Jesus. If you can get this on Amazon, a couple bucks, it's pretty old, but I find it very helpful. It's simple, easy to read. It talks about what is divorce and why is it a deal, and then talks about exceptions and how to begin how to rebuild if there has been divorce in the past. So I encourage you to take a look. I'll just leave it here if you want to write it down.
You know, it seems like Satan figured out very early that one of the things he's got to target is breaking up the family, whether it be through the Sunday dinner or alcohol or adultery or school systems that say you don't have to tell your parents about this, it's okay. Because if you take away the family, you've taken away one of the greatest support systems man can have, and you've broken them up.
But the other thing, I think, when you get married, it's kind of like a sacrament. When you get divorced, it's basically a civil thing, or, right? I mean, it's not a.
I don't know.
Well, no, I'm just saying. You would think if somebody got divorced, it was the rabbis or the Pharisees would say, okay, some procedure. It's not like
Legal procedure.
it's a legal procedure, right?
Anyway,
That's right.
Is there any right that's not legal to separate people, or does the church go strictly by what the law says? Do you understand what I'm saying? I think he raises an interesting point. If it was so important to the church to say that you can get a license, but that doesn't mean you're married, you have to get married in a church. Does the church say, okay, you can get a piece of paper that says you're divorced, but you're not really divorced until you come to us and really get?
I can't be overly dogmatic about church rules, other than I know that different churches, it's more flexible today. I think there's more grace today historically in the Catholic and Anglican church, you know. Divorce was basically said that's a no-no, and if you violate that, then remarriage is out of the question.
So there is no church right that says if you want to be really divorced in the eyes of God.
I'm not aware of that. What are next? Next week is Labor Day, correct?
Make it all right. That's what I was doing.
I guess that's what that would be.
I had to pay money.
Anyway, on September 7th, when we gather back again, we'll look at Lazarus, the story of Lazarus, the rich man. And here again, Jesus is picking up the hot topic, the key issues with the Pharisees, and he's using more stories to try and drive them. He's trying to win them to himself, trying to break down the pride and arrogance and hypocrisy. He's trying to drive them away. And the Lazarus story is a powerful story. So we look forward. Hope you have a great rest of the week. Anything to report, prepare, or